Hello, this is Scott Bacheldor with NBCM Live Talk Radio with my old co-host Marty Bullrock. And I'll let him introduce his credentials here. Go ahead, Marty.
Hello, I'm Martin Smith. I'm formerly known as Bullrock. I've been on social media for a little bit now. I'm just now starting a new venture here. I've been on Scott's board of directors for the Underground Social Network for some time now. And this is why I've come back to do this interview, is because we have a few flies to swat, so to speak. A few inaccuracies and deceptions have been thrown around. It has ruffled a few feathers. It has certainly ruffled the Canada board of directors. And now we are in a big scramble to get that resolved. But amongst other things, this is clearly an unfair attempt. Baseless and unfounded accusations have been thrown. And we are here to unpack this for our users at the Underground Social Network. Anybody who would be supportive of Scott Bacheldor and any of his endeavors so far in regards to the CCP or CPP, I'll let Scott explain what that is. You know, he's been an anti-poverty advocate for some time. So Scott, a little bit more details about your credentials.
Okay, well, I started off the longest organization I've been working with, and still over 4 years now, was Canadian Community Project, is the legal name. It was known as a cooperative community project before we registered. And so now we switched that over to the legal name because the board of directors in there decided to. The idea was to help people get back up on their feet, but instead of just giving a handout, we offer training the whole 9 yards, and while they're there, they get all their needs met, but it's would be a much more stable place for someone to get back up on their feet in a rural community setup. So it's kind of best way to describe it. It's like, think of a small little town that you're building, and all the function of the town is to help people to get back up on their feet, whether it be homeless, social service, disability, stuff like that. Because the reality is that a lot of people don't realize is if you can prevent future homelessness too, that comes in a big thing. Like, so social service, disability makes a huge difference. Now, we've kind of had this a little bit dormant because I've been working on the Underground Social Network lately. I'm the chief executive officer of that company, and it was started because Facebook was banning everyone, and including leadership for a lot of different deals we were working with. So I said, you know what, we need a different way to communicate. We can no longer trust Facebook. So this is why we created that. Give me a second. I had attempted to start a political party because nobody wanted to listen to our organization. And Facebook had literally kicked about 30 of our leaders off overnight. And we had no way to communicate to the people. And that's why we started CANOD, or the Underground Social Network there. So I also work with NBCM Live Talk Radio. This was kind of something we set up for fun, to get the news out, the media, and to more or less for kind of like a hobby. We originally came off of an organization called the Native Born Canadian Movement. The idea was kind of like a lobbyist company without the, bribing the politicians. It was more or less that we all came together, we could actually have a say. So now we're going to be doing that more into the Yellow Vest movement with Tammy, but I'm not the one who's the chief executive officer there. It is Tammy DeLine. I'm just the head of the board of directors.
So I'm getting here.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So what I want to ask you now is, we might have a few lag connections here. I do apologize with that, a few issues with the connectivity. But my next question is going to be, it sounds like you're trying to consolidate your operations now. And it sounds like a few people seem to have been, it almost seems like they've been deliberately misled. The impression I get is you're trying to streamline and polish up what you've been doing, because it sounds like there was a whole bunch of stuff that you were doing all at once, and now you're trying to pull it all together. Is that correct? Is that a fair assessment?
No, absolutely. And I love the Underground. It's like a utility, and I love it because it can bring all those together as one. Right now, they're all different organizations. Make no doubt about that. They're all legal, different organizations. But at the same time, we bring them all together with the Underground. However, the Underground is still a separate utility. It is not the same. What I do on the utility, which is the Underground, as the chief executive officer, CEO, is what it is. Now, I'm still entitled to my own personal life. I'm still entitled to having my own political views, as well as I'm still entitled to having my own free time. I'm not a slave to the company just because I run it. Go ahead, Marty.
Okay. Well, in that case, what it does sound like then, it sounds like there is a particular individual or series of individuals who are kind of taking advantage of this transitional chaos, which is unavoidable, and they're filling the narrative in themselves. Now, do you have in mind anybody, like, is there anybody at all who could have it possibly in for you this badly?
Oh, yeah, we went over it when we did all the checks. It always leads back to Dallas Kenneth Hills, unfortunately. Guy who I thought was my friend there for 4 years. But unfortunately, he served in the military. Best way to give a bit of a description of him. He always wants to fight up for freedom and rights and all this stuff. But he also has he didn't come back from the military very well. And so when he turns on people, you don't see it coming until it's too late. And we just noticed it before he, before it was too late kind of thing. So when we've done our research and a lot of things, my directors on a lot of different deals, he's sitting there going and trying to bash me, and he doesn't think like we're not going to talk. It's kind of interesting. And so they all came telling me the exact same story of what he said. So usually if one person's going to lie and the other person's going to say something different, they're going to be completely different, two different lies about someone, but they're exactly almost the same with a little few different details. But he told them the exact same story to try to get them on his side, and then it kind of backfired. And it was all because we want to unite all the Yellow Vests together as one group. But again, I mean, ultimately, if they want to stay separate, they can. There's no forcing whatever, right? But that's a whole different thing. I'm pretty much the lackey kind of thing. I work for Tammy Line. I'm like the coffee guy, build websites and help organize things. I'm not the leader of that organization. Go ahead, Marty.
Okay, so the way there's a few things for me to interpret on that. One being, you want to bring Ken into like an operational safe space for the Yellow Vests and people who are being banned. I get that. I get the impression there. The utility, Canada needs that utility. But in order to unite the Yellow Vests, it could be interpreted as almost an action to, hijack and take the movement. Now, it's come my side that there's two accusations coming from two sources. One from Will E. Lehman and the other one from I can't quite recall what her name was. I sent it to you on Discord there. You know what her name is.
Yeah, her name's Samantha.
And they say that not only and they say that you were trying to not only hijack the movement, place yourself as a leader, but you're also trying to profit. Like, to me, I have no reason to believe these. These sound like nonsensical and ridiculous. What are your thoughts?
Well, for most people who don't understand, is a membership nonprofit usually relies on membership fees. Now, I mentioned that's what it was, but I didn't say we're going to be charging for membership. I said we're going to offer for free for the first 90 days for sure, and then we would evaluate it at the end. And they took it up out of perspective, right? All we were doing was saying that that's what traditionally a membership nonprofit. However, we'll also have a donation button up for people, because the reality is to re-register and keep that name every year costs money for transport and vehicles, utilities, for advertising for the organization. Because the reality is we want to get the word out there that we're trying to make a difference. So that needs to get out there. The list goes on of different things that you need capital for, as well as getting people to the rallies. Like even if we had to rent charter buses to get people up on those buses filled, so that way people can actually go to these rallies or to events that we have, because it doesn't really have to be a rally. It can be a big barbecue and, celebrating that we're making progress. But regardless, for people that don't have vehicles, or don't have the ability to get there on their own, but still are members. We want to make it so that way our members can be taken care of in a good way. Go ahead, Marty.
Yeah. Yep. And one other thing too, is when I noticed one of the accusations on the Will E. Lehman video was, surprise, surprise, one of his sources was Dallas Hills. So that name does come up quite a few times. I have really learned to watch for some of these people, especially when they're repeat offenders when it comes to this kind of stuff. I mean, we need to be vigilant on this, but we also need to work on patching up a lot of loose ends on our end. Scott, I appreciate you can only do so much, but I've been warning you on things about how they could appear. Yep. And for other kind of confusions out there, what do you want to say to our users at can.com who may have doubts? And what do you want to say to anybody out there who may have some doubts about you and your operations to sum this up?
Well, for the underground, the CCP Inc., and for the Yellow Jacket, they're all separate organizations. If you have any concerns, by all means, come talk to me. I'm happy to work out any concerns on stuff like that. As for CCP, because there was an accusation made that we got land and we've got all these houses built and we're taking advantage of the homeless people. But again, that deal came from Dallas Kenneth Hills to Willie Lemon. I know because I was sent a transcription of it from Willie Lemon there. He was trying to post it in one of the groups. And so I read it, and then obviously I'm not going to prove it because, it would look bad on our organization, even though that wasn't true. And it seems like what it is just confusion. The Willie Lehman guy seems like a really good guy. He just got the wrong information and has got his blood boiling and was told to attack, right? And now I think we've settled that, but we'll see how it goes. I've had a lot of my directors from different organizations. I didn't take it too seriously. I'm just like, I just blocked the guy. Let's move on, right? And these guys went all out and were ready to go to war for me. And I'm like, okay, no, settle down, guys, settle down, right? But we got it resolved, hopefully here. But we'll see how it goes. I'm not blaming Willie Lemon guy. What it comes down to is every time there's so-called stuff going against my organizations or companies, it is Dallas behind the helm. And we have him on audio recordings and video recordings because he decided to leave certain people in a three-way call and forgot that they were there. And so they recorded everything. So, I don't know. It's very interesting. And I do apologize if this does cause any inconvenience for anyone. Canard will remain a neutral utility for anyone that's out there. Whether you're liberal, conservative, or anything in between, you're always welcome to come on there. We won't, if you don't like what people are doing, you block them. Plain and simple. Just don't post new pics and pornography, and everything else is pretty much good. If anything criminal, the cops deal with it. It has nothing to do with us.
Yep.
Go ahead, Marty.
Well then, now I got a little bit of a mess here. Yep, I got a bit of a mess here. This one's in particular for anybody Dallas Hills and anybody associated with Dallas Hills and anybody toting his line. I would strongly advise you to fact check this man. It doesn't sound like he's called quite right in the head. Now, to Dallas Hills directly. Now, Dallas, what the fuck does that say? Okay, you're not the only one who's blessed with PTSD. You have a duty to yourself and you have a duty to those people who trust you. Get your head space and timing checked. All right? You have pissed me off as a brethren, as a veteran serviceman of this country. Now listen, you fucking persist with this, I will see you charged with mischief, harassment, and libel. You do not drag Canada into this. You do not drag me into this. We both side on that dotted line. We both serve this country. I deserve more respect and honor than that. All right?
Absolutely.
Sort your shit out. get your head space and timing checked. That's all I'll say on this. You guys are playing with fire. Get your duck in a row, and you better make good on your accusations, or I will have you charged mischief, harassment, libel. That's all I will say.
Well, see, another thing I want to add too is everyone kept asking me like, well, why does this Darlene, his girlfriend, keep going along with everything? Well, a year ago when Dallas was kind of going on another, I guess you could kind of almost call it a tantrum, but an episode. He was drunk, and you could overhear him beating her. So I didn't see it, but you could hear it. So I'm not trying to make any accusations other than what I've heard. And so I actually feel really sorry for her, but she still chooses to be in that situation.
Scott, enough. That's exactly what that is. Scott, that is exactly what that was. That was an accusation.
Yeah.
That wasn't exactly wise. But yeah, Dallas, you have people who definitely seem to be concerned with your behaviors. So, like I said, get your headspace and timing checked out. You're hurting people. And it sounds like you're hurting people you love. Get it sorted out. That's it.
All right, well, guys, I hope you guys have come in here. If you have any questions, come talk to me. But don't stop. Come with your guard up. Come with your guard down, and we can have a normal conversation like regular people. And just because I hold titles doesn't mean I'm worth any more than you are, right? I'm just here to work with people. I created something great, and it was out of desperation originally, but I love it. And so does a lot of my Patriots who are on the Connaught.com. They love the site too. It's always great when people come in and you hear them thanking you for making it. And it's like, okay, all right. You know, you're welcome, I guess, right? So it comes in all types, but I do want to thank you everyone for listening to this video. I know it probably have been hard for some people to go through because there's a bit of a connection issue today, and I'm not sure with which side, but there's been issues with connection here. So I do want to thank you guys very much. God bless and have a great day.